Good morning and welcome back to the shop here at Basin Motorsports. I'm Canaan. Today I'm going to take you through the steps of making a custom seat upholstery button that you're probably not going to find anywhere else. So recently an acquaintance here in town asked if I could make him something for a set of seat upholstery he's making. Now he's going to put these into a 60s Plymouth and asked if I could take the Plymouth hood ornament he had hanging around, shrink it down to a 1-inch button size, and then make it have some kind of a post on the back or a loop so that he could sew that to a brand new set of seat upholstery. Now to give you some kind of a reference on size, here is my hand. Here is the hood ornament, the hood emblem as you want to call it. Here is the reference of a 1-inch button. And he was looking for maybe something on the back of either a loop like this or something a push on. And so what I gave him was a push kind of stud for a push nut that he can adjust on. Now I think the fun part about any kind of design is coming up with how to do it. So I started with basically the same size. You make it a circle, you do some extrusion, and then I came up with this shape. Now, because of the 1-inch size, these tips down here don't print very well. So a lot of times you're just going to get a round shape, even if you have it in your design. But as I rotate this around, you can kind of see the depth of it. Now, this is only about 7 millimeters tall total, 7.5 with the emblem. And it's only about filled in about the bottom half, so about 3.5 millimeters. Now on the back you have a stud there. I've made that with a rounded fillet at the bottom here, just to make it so it doesn't crack or break off very easily. Now the fun part about this is once you have it designed, you can always print it and then check it out. If things don't work out, you just adjust the sizing or radiuses or anything else as needed. This came out pretty good, so then I went over to my 3D printer. Now I have a small desktop unit that has a 12-inch by 12-inch bed, so a small 1-inch piece really doesn't take up much. Now this is not printing the little emblems themselves, this is printing something else, which kind of gives you the ambiance, I guess, of printing. You've got filament going in, melts it, and then lays it down just a fraction of a millimeter at a time. So these take about almost 55 minutes to print, these little emblems. This piece here is 1.5 hours, so you can kind of see the size. But they can be printed on demand as needed. Now, as I mentioned, with the piece here, you can get just a little push nut on the back, and it's going to leave a little bit of a rough shape that you can either clean up or you can leave as rough. You can kind of see the profile there. You can leave it rough to make it grip the seats a little bit more or sand it off as you need to. But kind of the cool thing you can do is you can kind of look in there and see how rough the surface is. Now, if you wanted the hatching, you can leave it as it is, or you can change it over to an ironing pattern when it finishes. Now, the ironing pattern itself is using the same material, but what it does, it just softens the edges in the pieces. So you can see the difference between the two, between the one on the left that has more of a hatch shape. You can see the path of the printing head on the left, or on the right, it's more smooth. And as you change materials, you can get a different gloss level. So this is a PETG on the left, which is more of a kind of a satin black. And on the right, you have a gloss black, which is ABS. ABS is a little bit better for temperature, but as it's going inside the car, I think either of these would be equally okay without worrying about warping or anything else. Now, one of the considerations you always have to keep in mind is one is you're trying to print it for profit, and two, is it a trademark item? A lot of times you cannot do anything with copyright or trademarks for a profitable venture. If you're just doing it for yourself, a lot of time it can be overlooked. It's always when you want to try and sell it and make money off of somebody else's work, you're going to get in trouble. Now, if you're interested in 3D printing, there's a lot of resources available out there online. There's a lot of free models you can download and print if you have a desktop printer and you're not used to design yet. Or you can go down and get a lot of free software like Fusion 360, Tinkercad, they have different free versions based on what you're going to be using it for. Now, if you have any questions or comments on designing or printing parts like this, go ahead and leave me a comment down below. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Now, if you need something designed or printed for a project you have coming up or in the middle of and you had a spark of an idea, well, you can also ask, see if I can be able to print that for you, and I'll get you pricing plus shipping. Remember, printing is all about using your imagination, and that's it for this time. We'll see you next time.